I'm in the truck headed to show the Hoof and Horn Ranch, which is a 1,600-acre high-fenced hunting ranch that I've got listed in Zephyr, Texas. Great place, but as I'm driving here, was just brainstorming, having some thoughts, and thought we'd have a little ramble fest and talk about the real estate industry a little bit. I've been up to Zephyr and Comanche and up through northern part of the hill country, I guess 6 times in the last 4 weeks, showing really big ranches. And so what that's shown me is after the holidays here, after the election, the market has really picked up. It's actually very encouraging, and we're seeing big ranches get activity like we didn't have last year. You know, last year was pretty slow on the big ranch sales. They seem to sit on the market. We had a lot of things working against us last year. The election year was a circus. Oil and gas prices were not good. Then we had, if you're in the deer industry, we had EHD hit us pretty hard, and the big chronic wasting disease scare, and all those things compounded with low cattle prices and low grain prices. It was just a tough year for the really big ranch sales last year, the multi-million-dollar large ranches here in the state. And this year, all things look to be very much stronger. We've got a lot of buyer activity. We're starting to put some new ranches on the market around the state of Texas. We're getting more activity from individuals as well as from investors and institutional type of buyers. And interest rates have stayed very low. We work very strategically with two lending institutions primarily, those being Capital Farm Credit and Crockett National Bank, and both are projecting rates to stay low throughout the year. Approval process is still very fast, and that's good news no matter which side of the transaction you're on, if you're on the buy side or the list side. So there's a little snapshot of the market. It appears to be very strong going into the spring, and this is the time of year. You know, the real estate industry is it's cyclical, and I think industry-wide we tend to think that the wintertime is the slow time. Us personally, we don't believe that. I think it's just a reflection of activity. Most agents lead generate really hard in the spring. They build up inventory in the summer, and then they spend all their time working that inventory during the summer and through the fall. And so what slacks off? Lead generation. Okay, if you follow good models and you time block and manage your schedule well, you never slack off on lead generation. You never slack off on looking for new buyers for your properties. And so the business stays pretty strong and consistent. That's what we've personally seen in our firm at Mock Ranches and in KW Farm and Ranch with our great agents there. So, you know, the other thing I wanted to discuss a little bit is I had some appraisers on a big ranch this morning. Some of the best appraisers in the industry, at least that I've worked with. They do large lifestyle and production and hunting legacy type of ranches throughout the state and throughout the West. You know, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Texas, Colorado, New Mexico. It doesn't really matter. That's kind of their deal. And we had a good conversation. I think this is pretty relevant for buyers and sellers, because I was able to ask these gentlemen how they take into account excessive improvements on a ranch and wildlife, because a lot of us have heavily improved ranches. It's actually getting more rare that you find a ranch that is not heavily improved with big elaborate homes and elaborate barns. It's actually getting more rare that you find a ranch that is not improved. And then the second half of the conversation was about wildlife values and how you manage and how they value that business, because it's not uncommon that we go into a ranch that may have $1 million in annual revenues from hunting and deer breeding or some type of an ecotourism activity. So we're able to ask them those questions, and basically we found no surprises. You can take improvement value and really value those at 50 cents on the dollar. And so if you're a property owner that's spending a lot of money on improvements, know that when a buyer comes and looks at that property, they would have built it differently, right? And I know so many of us are very proud of the improvements that we put on a ranch, and frankly most of you should be, because a lot of them are very fancy, just fine improvements. When it comes to horse barns, a lot of horses on these ranches live better than I do, and the same Same goes for some of these big deer that we take care of. They live better than most of us do. And then the homes on these ranches are very elaborate. Well, you just have to understand that a buyer's not going to pay replacement value for those always. And then you look at the deer business, and we typically, when we value a ranch at Mock Ranches, it's got a lot of revenue production on it. We have to break that out. And so we break out the real estate value of the ranch itself, okay, the land value, price per acre, and then we'll factor the improvement value, and then we take and factor any additional values like mineral rights or revenue production off of cattle or revenue production from farming or revenue production from a hunting industry, and we value those differently, and it's all in one transaction, but we look at those different businesses as buckets of value, right? Buckets of equity, and we value those buckets differently. And we found that that's the most accurate way to come to an accurate price on a ranch. It does us no good or you any good to put a ranch on the market at an extremely high value because a buyer's not going to be able to pay it or it won't appraise. And so pricing is a science, and that's a science that we've worked very hard to try to perfect in our firm. We approach these ranch values when we go price them very much like an appraisal. So we assign a weighted value to all the relevant comps that we can find in the area that have been sold, and then what's on the market today, and we analyze those for features, and we analyze them for time on the market, how many offers, what the negotiated price was on those that have sold, and come at it that way. So I know that's a rant, but it was some things that I've been running through my mind here while I'm on the road for about 6 hours today, and we're going to go try to sell the Hoof and Horn Ranch. I've got a buyer coming in from Florida to look at this ranch. We're proud of our marketing platform. Our tagline is Global Ranch Marketing, and we say that because that's really what our platform is. We work with the Keller Williams Global Property Specialist, which is a designation that we maintain, where we actually put these ranches on about 30 the top foreign websites across the world. And nobody else does that outside of KW because they don't have the technology to support it. And so the KW Global Property Specialist allows us to do that. I filmed this video with the KW video platform that we use. So technology is very important to us, and that's allowed us to reach these buyers out of the state and even out of the country. We've shown this year multiple ranches to possible buyers from out of the country. And so our marketing works. The industry appears to be strong. The market here in Texas appears to be strong. Rates are staying down, and all that's good news. If we can help you with the land sale or purchase, please let us know. You can contact me on my cell phone, 512-787-1849, or at www.mockranches.com. Check out our podcast as well, and we're always bringing relevant information there. I very much appreciate you. I know this was a ramble. I appreciate you watching it, and holler at us if we can help. Thanks so much. At Mock Ranches, we are global land marketing experts focused on farm and ranch, hunting and recreational properties throughout Texas and the western United States. Contact us at mockranches.com.